The recent COVID-19 surge is impacting long-term care facilities across the state. Officials at a New Hope nursing home say they are struggling with staffing shortages because many employees are out sick. Reporter Sonia Goins has more.
It's impacted our operations significantly the last 2 weeks with a pretty large spike of internal positives.
Officials at Northridge Health and Rehab in New Hope say at one point they had 48 residents and 24 staff members who tested positive for COVID-19.
It's been very hectic for cases for us. Like I said, really over the last 3 weeks has been the surge.
In December, about 30 Minnesota National Guard members worked at the long-term care facility for 2 weeks to help deal with severe staffing shortages, but the nursing home is still struggling.
Every 2 weeks, we have approximately 700 certified nursing assistant shifts that are open.
People are picking up extra shifts to cover the open spots, and Northridge Health is filling some of the openings with temporary workers. However, they could use some help.
It's gotten a little better after the holidays, but we don't see much reprieve here.
In New Hope, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
More than 100 nurses will start arriving at healthcare facilities this week to help with staffing shortages. Some of those nurses will be dispatched to North Memorial Health Hospital. The nurses will work up to 60 hours a week for 60 days to provide care for patients. Last week, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz directed $40 million worth of federal funding to hire emergency staff for hospitals dealing with staffing shortages. 1 year ago, local COVID-19 vaccinations began, including at the Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute in Golden Valley, where thousands of people received the vaccine. Now, 1 year later, a piece of artwork is paying tribute to that effort. This art piece, titled A Work of Heart, symbolizes all of the work that went into the Courage Kenny Vaccine Hub that went on for about 6 months. Every splash of color represents a person who contributed to the effort, including volunteer nurses, pharmacists, and security staff. The nurse who came up with the idea believes it symbolizes hope.
When there's a big lift like this that needs to be done, that our healthcare community and the members of our community come together and make it happen. And we're still out there working hard as a group to find a new normal.
The art piece is on display outside of the Courage Kenny gym. Responding to the COVID-19 crisis is just one of many duties one retiring firefighter can list. Greg Bodin has served more than one of our communities.
It's been great. I've enjoyed it. There comes a time. It's a young man's activity, and I'm not quite as young as I used to be. So I thank you for allowing me to serve.
Firefighter Greg Bodin retired from the city of Maple Grove after 21 years of service last fall, but he was recognized at the city council meeting this week. He was one of the charter members of Station 5 and also deployed to help at several natural disasters nationwide. Bodin has also served as chaplain and said that he has a prayer book that he keeps at his desk to pray for the firefighters of Maple Grove.
That God would protect them from the heat and the flame and the smoke, the hazards that you guys are exposed to all the time, that God would protect them from bloodborne pathogens and respiratory and cancer and even the stress of our work for all the things we see.
Bodin is also a chaplain at North Memorial and a fire marshal in Robbinsdale. He plans to retire from both of those jobs sometime in the coming months. Most restaurants are situated on main roads, but Delane Cleveland introduces us to a restaurant in Crystal that's right next to a residential neighborhood. It offers up breakfast and lunch with a little Mexican flavor.
It's said that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And if that is indeed the case, you might as well eat something that tastes good.
So this is ready. 2 ranchero skillets.
A ranchero skillet is just one of the delicious items served up at the Family Café, which opened 6 months ago in a small strip mall just off of Bass Lake Road in Crystal.
I open the 8 to 3. I do everything, lunch, breakfast, and dinner.
Pedro Torres runs the Family Café. The Mexican native has spent 3 decades working in the kitchen of different restaurants. And when this space became available last year, he decided it was time to step into the world of restaurant ownership.
Well, I got the opportunity in here, and right now I try.
Family Cafe sells many of the traditional items that people would normally associate with breakfast.
All right, so this is a biscuit and gravy.
But one of the best-selling items on the menu are the pupusas. It's a flatbread that's stuffed with beans, cheese, and pork, kneaded by hand, and then thrown on the grill.
So here is the menudo. This is the Mexican food.
Soup is also a popular item here.
It's cold, so it's good for warm.
Menudo is made with tripe and cooked in a red chili pepper base with a number of different seasonings. So whether you're more of an omelet person or someone who's looking for a little more spice in your diet, the Family Cafe has a little something for everyone.
A lot of people like my food, and I'm happy for that.
Are you ready for a little creativity and maybe a good laugh too? The polls are now open for the Name a Snowplow contest. Voting began early this week and it will go until January 26th. The Snowplow finalist names are just great too. Here's a few of them. Betty Whiteout, C3P Snow, Don't You Snow, Control Salt Delete, Sweet Child O'Brien, and the Big Leplowski. You can vote and get a laugh too at all of the names at MNDOT.gov/nameasnowplow. The 8 winners will be announced in early February, and you'll also learn where the newly named plows will be located.
The Wayzata wrestling team is the top team in our area this season. Jay Wilcox has highlights from their latest win.
Wayzata hits the mat with Buffalo in Lake Conference Wrestling. After 3 Bison forfeits, Wayzata's Elijah Wald sets the tone for the Trojans, getting the pin against Aiden Herbst in the 126-pound match, and it's 24-0. At 1:38, Charlie Pettit locks the cradle up tight on Cody Grant and gets another fall for Wayzata, and their lead grows to 35-0. At 1:52, another pin for the Trojans. Freshman Aiden Fartacek tightens his grip and is able to put Matthew Scherber away. It's all Wayzata at 47-0. The best match of the night is at 2:20. Second-ranked Dom Heim of Wayzata gets the takedown and beats McCray Close, who is ranked 8th at 195, 5-2. Wayzata wins the match 62-12. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The state wrestling tournament returns to the XL Center this March. It's a historic year, too, as girls' divisions will be added for the first time. In our CCX Sports Spotlight, Jay Wilcox profiles 2 female wrestlers who hope to be in on the action.
It's become a more common sight in gyms around the northwest suburbs and the state.
She's on that roll, and she's got it.
Girls participating in wrestling. A week ago in a dual meet between Armstrong and Park Center, each team had a girl win their match.
Man, it shows the determination and dedication of some of those girls.
Park Center senior Rodia, or Roe, at Daytontune, scored a decision at 132 pounds.
She wrestled really hard, and I'm proud of that.
That was shortly after Armstrong sophomore Amelia Hermanson won the 113-pound match.
I'm excited that we have more girls that are finally joining teams and not being so wary of that it's a boys dominant sport. I'm excited that we're finally progressing into having more female wrestlers.
I've seen a lot of competitive girls. I've seen a lot of girls beat boys.
This year I've been seeing like a lot more girls than normal. Like 2 weeks ago I was at the Rogers tournament, and I kid you not, there was like maybe like 100 girls at that tournament. It was packed with girls.
Roe and Amelia have both been on the mat for about 4 years, and Roe also played football for the Pirates.
Coach Justin was actually my freshman football coach, so a lot of the freshman football players I played with, we all joined the team together.
In the beginning, I would say it was weird because I've always been on teams that are just girls, and so moving from a sport that's mainly girls to guys was kind of a weird transition, but 4 years later, I don't see a difference in any other sport.
For the wrestlers and their coaches, it's been fun to see the progress these young women have made on the mat.
My first year was very tough, but coming up after training all year round for all 3 years so far, I've been getting better. I've been getting a lot more technical. Like, I wrestle boys who are like a lot stronger than me, but like I have great technique in my opinion. So sometimes technique works over strength.
Her confidence is high and she's competing well with the boys and winning some of those matches.
This year she picked up right where she left off last year in terms of being competitive in her matches, and now she's even starting to win them.
Looking back at last season to where I am now, I have made huge progress and I'm proud of myself for that.
I don't know if she'll like me to say this, but I asked her what she thought about going up to 113, and she says, no problem, I'm a beast.
Adedintun and Hermanson have a chance to be part of history this season.
I think it's a great opportunity for everyone involved.
Now that's like actually here and like it could be at the XL Energy Center, it's just a lot more exciting.
For the first time, the state high school wrestling tournament will have female divisions, and both hope to contend.
I have very high expectations for myself, so I'm really excited. Like, if I got anything other than first place, I'd honestly be disappointed in myself because I have that championship mentality, you know. I just want to go out there and win.
I think it's a little nerve-wracking because we don't know how it's going to end up, what we're expecting, but I think it's a great step going forward for female wrestlers.